ThomasJChristensen, The China Challenge, Shaping the Choices of a Rising Power. Embark on a journey through the complexities of U.S.-China relations with ThomasJChristensen's book, The China Challenge, Shaping the Choices of a Rising Power. The author examines the intricate balance between cooperation and competition between the two countries, addressing their differing viewpoints, economic ties, mutual benefits, and the influence of history, politics, and national pride. From the globalized interconnections to the domestic challenges each nation faces, this book is your key to understand the factors that impact their evolving relationship.
U.S.-China relations, from strategic economic dialogue to zero-sum game. The U.S.-China Strategic Economic Dialogue was launched in December 2006, setting the context for the U.S. to take a pragmatic approach towards China and encouraging the latter's continued economic growth. However, some theorists within China caution against adopting Western systems, and the Chinese media tend to portray U.S. policy towards China as an attempt to surround, split or westernize the country. Today, ongoing U.S.-China relations are seen as a zero-sum game by international relations realists and neoconservatives, who believe that the U.S. should never strengthen rival powers. U.S.-China relations. The book explores U.S.-China relations since 1978, highlighting America's pragmatic approach to the strategic economic dialogue. Rather than pushing for the reduction of China's government's economic role, the U.S. advocated for more state regulation and oversight. China agreed to bring in U.S. officials to improve safety and inspection institutions and implement more efficient corporate accounting practices to develop the stock markets. The U.S. also encouraged the creation of a stronger social safety net to address the concerns of the aging Chinese population, who tend to save too much and consume too little for optimum economic performance. Sino-US relations, beneficial interdependence. The U.S. and China enjoy a mutually beneficial relationship that is not zero-sum. While China's military capability is strong, it is not a superpower. China can disrupt the U.S. strategically through its institutional presence. However, due to systemic global linkages, a stagnant or collapsing China would adversely affect the U.S. Chinese leaders fear instability and focus on economic growth and nationalism to retain legitimacy. Thus, selling China's leaders on working with recent enemies such as the U.S. or former colonial powers in Europe is difficult. Despite differences like Taiwan or maritime disagreements, continued peace between the U.S. and China is viable. China's special treatment. Despite its economic power and potential for global contribution, China faces significant political, social, and economic challenges, requiring special treatment from other industrial powers. The country may have a per capita GDP equal to that of Ecuador, but its societal issues require a unique approach. Despite having large foreign exchange reserves, over 100 million Chinese people still live in poverty, and they have yet to establish a robust social security system. Thus, China benefits immensely from peace and requires specific considerations from the international community. China's reluctance to contribute to the global system. China has benefited from the stability of the current global system but has contributed little to it. Despite its strong economic ties with other major players, China shows little inclination to contribute to global stability and security. This reluctance is partly due to the government's prioritization of state security over national security, as evidenced by its censorship practices. China's heavy reliance on carbon fuels also poses a significant threat to global climate efforts. Overall, while global economic stability and security bring numerous benefits to China in the short and long term, the country's pressing domestic concerns often hinder its ability to contribute positively to the global system. Nuclear threats and global powers. Proliferated nuclear capabilities in untrustworthy governments such as North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan have led to global insecurity. The North Korean government's criminal activities contribute significantly to the country's GDP, providing a strong economic incentive for them to spread nuclear weapons and technology. The fears of direct nuclear attacks are not the only concern, as possessing nuclear weapons may give Iran more confidence in their non-nuclear aggression. China's economic relationships with Iran and North Korea provide them with a degree of influence, but for strategic, economic, and ideological reasons, China is reluctant to reduce their support of these nations. Reports indicate that Pakistani entities and North Korea have cooperated with Iran to develop nuclear material and delivery modalities. Overall, the issue of nuclear weapons globally is not just a matter for individual countries but for the world as a whole. China's nuanced approach to North Korea. This book highlights the complex factors that influence Chinese policy towards North Korea. With millions of ill-educated, poor and diseased North Korean refugees potentially flooding China if the regime fails, China has a stake in the stability of its neighboring country. Additionally, a collapse of North Korea would remove China's buffer against South Korea, a U.S. ally. While the U.S. and South Korea could assure China that a unified Korea would not pose a security threat, China may fear that a successful, prosperous Korea could undermine the legitimacy of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. The CCP sees Mao's strategic success as the foundation of China's present-day power and could view a North Korea collapse as a threat to this legacy. The book sheds light on China's complex motives and highlights Pakistan as China's closest ally. China's economic prospects and challenges. China faces economic struggles despite its growing global prominence, including the graying population, reliance on exports, and the need for sterilization. China's global position is strong, ranking as the world's biggest economy. However, compared to the US dollar, the Chinese renminbi is not internationally convertible and does not float in currency markets. While American policies caused the 2008 financial crisis, U.S. Treasuries and Wall Street stocks remain at the forefront of global savings due to the U.S.'s robust economy and strong institutions. Pakistan positions itself as a capable protector of Chinese interests and national honor, as China deals with inefficient energy use, environmental damage, and a rapidly aging population. China must sterilize its account surplus by purchasing bonds from other countries, which helps reduce potential inflation. However, doing so shifts foreign reserves abroad, leading to other challenges. China relies heavily on exports, which require balancing to avoid domestic inflation, but limiting subsidies has the potential to cause economic hardship. Reverse engineering of weaponry by Chinese civilian companies is also a concern, as it could lead to PLA manufacturing of advanced weapons systems. Despite worries of a sudden Chinese sale of U.S. holdings, China could suffer immediate losses and has that dependence on the U.S. economy. By reviewing the pros and cons, it seems as though China is an extraordinary global economic power with many hurdles to overcome. China's emergence as a superpower, myths debunked. As China grows in economic, political, and military power, many believe it will surpass the U.S. in dominance. However, China's weaknesses, including questionable business practices, support for pariah states, and a lack of innovation and academic quality may hinder its progress. Meanwhile, the U.S. continues to lead in corporate innovation and patents in emerging fields like green technology. Both nations will have to constantly adjust to a complex web of geography, political psychology, domestic politics, and shifting distributions of material power. Additionally, China's domestic problem with air pollution threatens its long-term growth and has prompted the nation to implement some restrictions and international cooperation. Despite China's progress, the U.S. remains a significant global player with noteworthy strengths.
In conclusion, the China Challenge delves deep into the dynamics of the U.S.-China relationship while highlighting the nuances of international politics, economic interdependence, and diplomacy. By recognizing that growth and stability in either nation can benefit the other, the book acknowledges that the relationship isn't a zero-sum game. It encourages readers to develop a more comprehensive understanding of the challenges each nation faces, and the role they both play in shaping the future of global governance. This book is an essential read for anyone looking to navigate the complexities and intricacies of global politics in the 21st century.